Well, let me see here. I wanted to make sure I got that on because this is added to the last tape if somebody cares to hear it. It's more of a kind of a diary because I can't get an attorney to represent me or anything. My father's real King Edward VIII. I was kidnapped by my own uncle, and I've got that on the prior tape. And my dad was married to Claudia O'Keefe Windsor, an American, and he never a double was used to marry Wallace Simpson and help take down the British monarchy, and it was replaced by my uncle George VI, who helped take his own brother down and helped kidnap me with Roosevelt, the Rockefellers, Joseph Kennedy, who was ambassador, you name it. The point I wanted to get to here is when I came to Roanoke, my jobs were shut down. I couldn't even get a place to live, and I resorted to living on the Appalachian Trail, and at times I didn't have a tent or a sleeping bag. I froze, I starved, and believe me, people have known about the truth about it, and I've been told too many times they were afraid of repercussions if they helped me. So I'm going to skip to my tents were when I was able to get a live in or get a. You have to have a place to live to work. So let's put it this way: when I waitressed a little bit, was able to and got a tent. Uh, Part of the trail people that are supposed to be nice, Appalachian Trail volunteers and club, would come out and spray my tent, and yes, they did. And I'm going to go ahead and say this about, I hoped he was a friend, but he's with the Marshal Service, and his name's Robert. And I guess out of the lot, he's the one that I trusted. But I'm going to tell you this. He told me recently, and he told me, but I can't do anything with any of this. The media won't touch it. They're controlled by the Rockefellers and the New World Order, of which Elizabeth and Charles, that's my home, Buckingham Palace. She has it. She has my money. They stole it from my father and then helped kidnap me. And yes, she's always known about me. My uncle helped kidnap me. The Windsors, part of the Windsors helped and brought me over here. So they're very aware of me, believe it. But anyway, the thing is, it's been a horrible thing. I mean, when I would fight to get a tent, I mean, work and walk up and down the side of the highway, up the Appalachian Trail, in the roughest of conditions, and snakes and bears and you name it. Then Robert, who's with the Marshal Service, he told me later that, well, I knew, he knew of, they sprayed my tents. And you can't get that off of your tent so easily, or a sleeping bag, you can't. The sleeping bags, you can't get the stuff that they put in it, polyurethane, you name it, formaldehyde. But later, not too long ago, Robert told me, he said, I still have his number, I don't talk to him anymore, but this wasn't long ago when I moved in where I'm at now. He said, well, I wanted to tell you that I told the people on the trail that I helped you buy the tents. Well, that was a total lie. Nobody ever bought me a tent. I bought them. What he did was he took when they would spray, and he had to have known it. He's with the Marshal Service. What they did was I'd buy the tent when I was lucky to get one, walking up and down the side of the road, starving, hot, sun, freezing, begging for a place to stay and food. If I got a tent, they came up and sprayed it to where I couldn't use it more, or sleeping bags. So what Robert did was he would take my tent down, and at times, there were a couple of times they were brand new tents. And I'd set them up at night, and the next morning, I'd be rolling out of them because they'd been sprayed. And one of them was a Mountain Hardware. And I'm talking about, I bought the good tents when I had the money, because you have to carry them up the trail and carry them with you, and I was run from this place to the other. And so these were good tents, over like $200, or 275, or at times the, what was it, the Orion by Sierra. There were some of the Sierras over the years, this spanned in years, that were like $300 or $350 or on a, which to me was a lot of money. But then I was sleeping out in the winter and everything, and that's what I got to protect me. And then they would soak them. So without going any further there, I wanted to put this in. When I did get a little money, and I found out that you could get HUD or Section 8, the elderly retirement, I went to Edinburgh Village, and the homeless assistants took me there. And so it makes it look like people are doing me a favor. What is happening is they're glossing over. They're not telling about spraying me and blocking me and my response to it. They're making it look like I'm just a flighty person making things up. And my response is to them deliberately being told by the law enforcement to soak and spray me, which is killing me. I'm allergic to chemicals. I have immune disorder. Kidneys, everything end up failing. So they leave all this out. And if you do a background check, you're not even getting my real name. You're getting a name they gave me when they kidnapped me. And I got to see, I don't know if this is going over. I guess it is. But I wanted to make it quick if I can. It's more like a diary. Edinburgh, I was taken there in '06. And right away, they got me in. After all those years of struggling and freezing, I got in. Oh, I had a little money uh, to pay the rent each month, Section 8. I got in, and I managed to live there for 6 months. My lungs, they deliberately, and everybody there knew it. I'm not talking about all the residents, but part of them did, but the management. And the guy who was maintenance, and I still say, they told me his name was Palmer. He lived at the Appalachian Trail where he had a beautiful cabin, and not just a cabin, it was a home way up on a knoll there, looking almost at the trail where I would have to go up and walk to get to the top to Full Heart Knob to have a place to stay. That's a mile and a half up, and then whatever happens. This man and his wife, and she's very prominent, her family is here. Claytor Lake is named after them. Why can't I say their name? They're doing it just because I can't get an attorney to represent me. There's an ongoing national security involved, is what the FBI letter said, sent to me June the 23rd of '79, before April the 1st of '80, when I was soaked with antifreeze was put in me, and I should have died. So it's just an ongoing hell, and I mean, everybody knows it. And me telling about mind control murders and all this, and what they do is they try to figure out how to discredit me. It is the weirdest thing you've ever seen. So anyway, I want to go back to Edinburgh. I went there, I had to leave. I was soaked, and Palmer was the maintenance, and he had lived out there and watched me over the years in a beautiful home, watched what was being done to me. Now I've got a place, a little studio at Edinburgh, which is associated with the Queen of England, by the way, the name, or Edinburgh Castle. And here he is soaking me and spraying me. And I remember, I'm not talking about just Comet or household cleaners. These are bad things. Freon or that, you name it. They were using it on me. Nobody would do anything about it. I had a woman there who, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and say her name. Her name was Carol Rogers Simon. Her husband, so she said to everybody, was a psychiatrist up in Washington, the state of Washington, Seattle, I believe she said. And she ended up with my apartment there. You wouldn't get any of the truth to it. She told me to my face, she said, so what's she doing there with an ex-husband who's a psychiatrist? But anyway, she told me back then, this is in '06, she said, you're paying for what the crimes your family committed. So ancestors is what she was saying. and I wanted to say, no, I'm paying for the crimes that you all have committed against me. You